Our association was incorporated in 1995, and we serve the turf and forage seed growers that are in both the Alberta and the British Columbia Peace region. So we're pretty unique in that we actually span both provinces. We have approximately 500 growers across both provinces, as well as 50 other members that include scientists and industry representatives. My name is Talon Gaucher, and I'm the General Manager for the Peace Region Forage Seed Association. The vision of the association is to improve the profitability and sustainability of the forage seed industry within the region. We hope to strengthen all of our relationships and obviously provide research and extension services that revolve around turf and forage seed production. The goals of our association align really closely with the Peace Region Living Lab because forage seed producers typically don't grow just forage seed. They are traditionally incorporating it into an annual cropping rotation, or they're integrating livestock in some way. Therefore, it made more sense to look at the whole picture, just like how the Living Lab does, where you actually look at the whole picture. And so our association, I felt, was a good fit with the Peace Region Living Lab because our producers aren't just doing one thing. They're usually incorporating another cropping system or livestock in some way or another.
My name is Trevor O'Dwyer. We farm kind of around Dawson and out in Rolla, and our farm name is under our company, which is AgriWorks. I grew up around the farm with my grandpa and my Uncle Brent and my dad. Then kind of moved away from the farm and went into kind of teaching in corporate oil and gas, and then came back later here about 10 years ago and pursued agriculture through equipment rentals and ultimately on the farm. Started out with a focus on forage seed and developed some partnerships through the Forage Seed Association and grew some crested wheatgrass, pubescent, creeping red fescue, and a trial here now this year on slender wheatgrass. So it's been a lot of fun trying the different species.
My name is Blair Hill. I operate Hill Farms Ltd. with my parents in Taylor and north of Taylor and close to Belleville. I guess I've been farming since I could walk. I was out there doing stuff, and I think officially farming since about 2007. My grandpa's family came here in 1933 and he started farming in 1940. And so I guess we've been going since then. And hopefully maybe one of my kids will want to do it, but we'll see. They're pretty small yet. We've been growing grass seed for, I think, since the 50s, definitely the 60s, and mostly creeping red fescue. Also clover. Don't grow clover very often anymore. And then in the last 10 years, we've been growing a lot of timothy. So our grass seed acres actually make up probably a big third of what we grow.
My name is David Wuthrich. I am one of the owners and operators of PW Farms Limited in Cecil Lake, BC. My father immigrated in 1967. That's when he purchased his first land. Married in '68 to my mother, Susan. I have 3 kids, me, my brother, and my sister. They didn't want to farm, but I chose to. So my wife and I, took over approximately 20 years ago. And we've been farming it ever since. And recently our son has gone off to ag school and he's come home and he's interested in taking over, and he currently farms with us as well. Our business is based around pedigreed seed sales. So we do quite a bit of pedigreed seed, all the cereals, wheat, barley, oats, canola, peas, and then we're quite a bit into grass seeds, so clovers, timothy, and fescue, and we've done some brome in the past as well.
I'm fairly curious, so any opportunity to learn and try new things and step away from standard practices, I'll try it. And so that Living Labs project fit right in to our program, and being that we're forage seed growers, it gives us another kind of opportunity to learn. The one field we've got, and we farm a few pieces around Dawson, and there seems to be a bit of a groundwater issue. There's definitely some saline issues, and I don't know, it's about the same elevation. I don't know if it's a seam right around the community. We've got 3 or 4 fields that have saline issues, and this one on the north edge of town, it's got a big saline issue, and it's spongy ground and it's coming out, and it's basically killed everything in there. So just doing some different research. I mean, saltlander was the obvious kind of approach, but that saltlander species is not available for me to grow under contract. So the next option was to grow slender, which is the most salt tolerant of the grasses. That was ultimately the decision why I went to grow it. It was for the dirt, it was for the soil to try and recover it. I'm a forage seed guy, so that's why we grew it to market it as seed. And it definitely caught really well, and it's done well up there. It's been a bit of a challenge in those saline spots. We've tried a few different ideas with some subsoiling and some straw spreading, just trying to look at how we can reclaim some of that. I haven't given it the attention that it really honestly needs. I was hoping the grass was going to do a little bit better than it has, but being so dry, we'll give it another shot and see what happens.
I'm hoping the Living Lab can help me by, seeing if there are other ways of doing things. There's a lot of people growing grass seed that, everybody's got their own little thing that they do, and maybe there's something I'm doing that somebody else can pick up on, or maybe there's something else that somebody else is doing that I can pick up on that's better. As the farmer, you get to see the trial or whatever the experiment is going on while it's going on. You don't have to travel anywhere to see it, or you get to sort of go out your front door and there it is on a daily basis, and you get to see the changes as they're happening. Our primary one would be the Timothy field out here, and it's to see if over 4 or 5 years, if we can build up the organic matter where we're not doing any tillage, like you typically would with an annual crop where you're doing some tillage, and you're having something living there all the time instead of part of the year. And hopefully we're going to see some changes, maybe some increase in organic matter, maybe some better soil aggregation, that sort of thing.
On-farm trials, I think, are critical to every farm. Every area is so different. Even our own farm is varied. We have 6 different soil types and different soil zones. So you have to get that data on your farm. What works 50 miles away may not work on your farm. So I think it's critical. And I want to know what it will do. And our farm has its own microclimate. Every farm does. So how do things, everything will react differently. So our particular Living Labs project is based on long-term grass seed rotations, encompassing it with some cereal production as well, but trying to build up organic matter and just seeing how much carbon we're actually sequestering in the soil. We've just started it here the last couple of, 2 years ago we started with the grass seed on that particular field that we're doing. We just want to see how long it will take to actually see a benefit.
Success for me by our association being involved in the Peace Region Living Lab is that we can actually provide data to our producers that shows that forage seed crops do improve their soil health, and that there may actually be a return. And if there is a ecological goods and services system or a carbon credit system implemented in the future, there will actually be data that proves. And so when that comes out, our producers will also be eligible to receive some of those credits or benefits if any type of system like that comes out in the future.
So success in this project would be to actually build up organic matter, build up carbon in the soil, and just overall have a healthier soil. That's our main goal, because without healthy soil, we're not producing a crop that will sustain us.
Soil organic matter it's really where your soil structure comes from. And if you have low organic matter, you have, your structure is poor, water infiltration is poor, your fertility is poor. And I know we've seen like in a lot of places, we've seen that go down over the years through tillage practices and that before we switched over to minimum tillage. It's important to look after soil, because if we don't have soil, that's where everything comes from. And if it's gone, then you can't grow anything.
Success on the farm for me is leaving it better than I found it, financially, agronomically. I guess those would be the 2 big things. The financial component, just being a smart producer that knows his numbers, that knows the cost of production, that's a smart marketer, builds relationships, has a broad network of people that I can rely on, that we've got good support systems and coaching and mentoring. That's how I strive to be successful.
The Living Labs project, I think, will prove to farmers, hopefully, that there is economic benefit to changing the way that we do farm and realizing what does work and what doesn't. Because in the end, we are bound by economics in farming.
Well, I hope that the Living Labs project can improve perceptions with consumers by showing that farmers we're not out just doing the same thing over and over and over again. We're always trying to do things better, be more efficient, and maybe use less fertilizer if we can, use less fuel if we can, and still grow good crops.
The general population is going to be setting what standards we farm by. And if they're not educated and informed, they can really lead us down the wrong path. And that's something that scares me. So I think it's vital that the Living Labs project gets the information out there, tells the general public what we're doing and that we are doing a good job. We as farmers have to be our own best advocates. We have to get what we're doing out there to the general population and show them that we're good stewards of the land. If we don't take care of the land won't take care of us and we'll be gone. So we're doing everything we can to be the most productive and sustainable as we can. Sustainability is a big word now, and I think people don't realize we've been sustainable for a very long time. We just have been terrible at getting the word out.